Hello and welcome to Todd Rolls Dice, where we're going to take a look at the LVO 2025 preview. This was streamed earlier this morning, but I was fast asleep. So now we're going to catch up. Hopefully this is all going to come through fine and working. Did a Windows update last night, didn't think about it, and now all my audio settings are completely screwed. So hopefully everything's fine. I know I can hear it, it should be coming through. If not, it'll be some clever editing and all of this intro will make no sense to anybody at all. How about we just jump straight into this because we're ready to go. It's one of the pre-recorded previews. That's all I've seen as I've been testing it. I've just seen Nick and Alex. I haven't seen anything else. Hopefully I'm right with my predictions, which we did on the last week in Warhammer video. Just to run over them very quickly. We have Black Library Reveal being Emperor's Children, specifically Lucius the Eternal. 40k was going to be Knights, Chaos Knights, Imperial Knights. Old World was some sort of druidy thing. I know that's very vague, but I don't know Old World that much. But Old World was something like that. Necromunda was Delac. We'll see. I think it's Delac. And then the undead skeleton horse riding thing was AOS, Vampire Courts, or Flesh Eaters, something along those lines. That's what I was going for. We'll see how many I get right. How about we just get straight into this?
Hey folks, and welcome to the Warhammer preview.
I like that they've got the
this is Alex.
closed captions on.
Your guides through the next
That's
hour
not
or so
me, by the way.
Wonderful new stuff to look at.
Mine are
Now,
off.
The Las Vegas Open is taking place in Nevada right now as we speak. If you're there at the event, we hope you're having a wonderful time. But Alex,
I'd love
we've
to
got
go
some
one year.
seriously good stuff to look at, right?
We do indeed. We've got stuff from Warhammer Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40,000, Necromunda, and the Old World. But that's enough from us.
Black Library wasn't
A reveal
mentioned.
now that I am incredibly excited for.
So this is a Skeleton Riders. AOS. Gotta be AOS. Yeah, AOS. Okay. Flesh Eater Courts then. Barrow Guard. They look nice. Is it? It's not Flesh Eater Courts, is it? Ooh, they do look good. They look nice. Soulblight Gravelords. That's, yeah, undead.
Ooh,
Fine.
that is a beautiful box for the Soulblight Grave.
Box.
So this is the Death Rattle Army set, and as you can see, it is
Okay.
skeleton heavy.
It is. I bet you're a happy chappy right now.
I am very
Inside
happy.
the box, we've got the brand new White Lord and or King on the skeletal steed leading the force there.
Okay.
Lots of the new
Different
Barrow
options.
Guard and the new Barrow Knights as well. There's 20 Barrow Guard and 5 Barrow Knights in the box. Of course, this box contains
They
the
look
Battle
cool.
Tome, the War Scroll cards, what you've come to expect. It's really so cool, this box, isn't it, Al? Tell me about it, man. What's your favourite part of this?
Oh, I think it's going to have to be that White King.
He's so cool. We'll come to him in a second. But first of all, who are the Barrow Guard?
Right. So the Barrow Guard, these guys are basically the White King or the
They're
White Lord's
stunning.
bodyguard, and they're slain at the time of his
Absolutely
death.
stunning.
Knowingly or not, willingly or not, they're then interred with him, and so when the curse strikes and he's risen, they come with him.
These are a fantastic set of miniatures. There's 10 models per kit. You get 20 of them in the Death Rattle Army set, and you can make the banner, the champion, the magician as you normally can. Now, if you already play Soulblight Gravelords and you have Grave Guard in your force, then this unit, the Barrow Guard, are simply a replacement inside the book for that unit. So you can use your Grave Guard models as these if you'd like to. These
Okay.
models can be armed with both a sword and a shield, or you can see some at the back there with a big double-handed axe as well. They're really cool, these guys. Super armored skeletons.
The
elite
poses are
skeletons,
brilliant.
Is if such a thing is possible. And in game, they can deliver crit mortal wounds with their weapons and protect nearby heroes as well. So elite bodyguards for heroes.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty cool, right?
Indeed. And thinking of elite death rattle units, we've also got the Barrow Knights. So these guys,
They look
obviously,
really
the
cool.
nobles of the Barrow Kingdoms. They were buried alongside their horses, so when they've risen, they've taken them back. They've retained a little bit more of their sentience than the average death rattle, so they've got some of the little quirks from life. So
like you guys know, my AOS lore is
grabbing banners
wonky.
and trinkets from the battlefield as
Are these guys basically just
skeletons
Age of Sigmar
personalities.
Necrons?
I like that a lot. This again, box set is 5 models in the box. They make a champion musician and standard in there as well. And again,
Fairly standard
if
now
you've
at
got
this
Black
point.
Knights in your force already. These are a sort of almost replacement for those. So you can use your Black Knights as these, or use these new models if you'd like to as well. Heavily armored cavalry that can protect a local cavalry a hero as well, which is pretty cool. And they've got a rule called Cursed to Rise, where you can just bring models back to the unit with no dice rolls required, which is really cool. So
that's strong.
These guys just don't die. Again, I guess.
Sorry, I've not had my first cup of coffee yet, so I'm
leading the force.
Indeed. So
I'm
this
not
is the
fully
centerpiece
awake.
model from that Death Rattle box. This is
That's
the White
nice.
King. So these guys were the
That's really
rulers of the
nice.
Barrow Kingdoms, and when they're buried, it tended to be in opulence. They might have a sarcophagus of gold or on a great bone chair, that kind of thing, buried alongside their bodyguards.
It's a really cool
They're
base as
very,
well.
Very warlike sort of
Really
kingdoms.
cool.
So these guys have an awful lot of will. So it takes a very powerful vampire to kind of take control of them. And as we'll talk about in a bit when we look at the battle tome, you can now.
So they are linked to the
armies of
vampires.
Death Rattle skeletons led by these guys.
It's so cool. The
Oh,
king,
wow.
of course, there is one of the 2 options. It can also make the White Lord as well, sort of maybe a lesser rank of a skeleton hero. On the tabletop, the king is a little bit more powerful and can bestow ancient barrow curses upon your enemies, which is terrifying. Whereas
That'll
the
be
Lord is more of a leader for
wizard
your
stuff.
cavalry, so he bestows a few benefits onto cavalry units in your army. So if you want to have a whole
Nice.
army of cavalry, this is the guy you want leading it if you
Oh,
wanted it.
yes. Now, these aren't the only leaders coming for the Soulblight
No.
Gravelords, are they?
Hmm.
Here we are, Prince Vordry, Master of the Crimson Keep. Now, Prince
He's-
Vordry is
he's on a
back from the Age of
dragon.
Myth. He's not been Nagash's favourite the whole time. He was, after a rebellion, he
Wow.
was cursed to basically
That's
be bound to the Crimson Keep, which
A big
was
model.
torn out of time and space, and so it appears randomly across the realms. However, as you'll find out in the battle tome, it has been appearing in places Nagash didn't necessarily want it. So there's definitely something going on here. Now, this model is absolutely spectacular. It
It's
is
huge as well.
That's
it's got 160
Golden Demon
remains, which is
entry.
monstrous.
Wow,
So
160
much
mil,
bigger than
that's
the previous
massive.
Incarnation of the model.
Yep.
It was so cool to see, and what a centerpiece model it is as well.
Oh, yes.
That
The
lance
undead dragon
is
looks
almost as
amazing.
tall as the Revenant Draconith he sits upon, named Shordmare. Am I right?
It is. So
Yeah.
Shordmare was the first Draconith to sort of dabble in necromancy, attempted to raise a load of other Draconith, didn't go particularly well, all kind of backfired, and he ended up in undead himself.
Just a beautiful, beautiful model. And of course, the model being a bit bigger
Wow.
he's on the tabletop, he's got a little bit tougher. His health's gone up to 18, which makes him even harder to kill than he previously was. But just an incredible
Nice.
centerpiece for your Soulblight collection.
Yeah.
But that's not the only model that comes in that kit. If you wanted to, you could also build this, the Revenant Draconith, which is essentially a huge sort of zombified
That's
dragon, but
cool.
without a rider on the back.
Yes, indeed. So these are fairly rare. Whilst Nagash and Shordmare did attempt to raise a number of them, Krondys and Karazai did not take well to that and hunted them down. And so if you're a vampire
Wow.
lord in need of something incredibly hard hitting,
That
and you go in search of
That's
one of these,
more
you
impressive
bring
than
a lot
the-
of meat,
the one with the
and a
rider.
lot of willpower to kind of control them. But there's an element whenever they roar, apparently, that is almost lonesome. Like there's a memory of who they used to be locked in there.
That's really cool. I like that a lot. There's on the tabletop,
grim.
these can fly high. Warhammer players from yesteryear might remember flying high, and this Revenant Dragon can do that off the battlefield and then come down later on, striking down. If it
Oh,
wants
that's
to.
a cool
It can
rule.
Keep doing that throughout the game, which is really
That's a
cool.
really cool
It's
rule.
a terrifying thing to face, and we'll come on to the book later on. But I wanted to point out that one of the regiments in the one of the regiments of renown in the battle tome is called the Beast of Castle Stenesti, which allows you to take a Revenant Draconith in any death army. So you want one of these in your Ossiarch or your
Whoa.
Nighthawk force, with your flesh
Yes.
eaters, you go for it. It's a really cool thing that
brilliant.
all death players can have a go at. It's really, really cool. Right, well, we mentioned the battle tome. Let's
We
have a
did
look
indeed.
at that. What can we expect from the
That
battle
might
tome?
get me into
So
the
battle
Bone
tome
Reapers.
is, as we can see from that box set at the start, is highly focused on the
I like
Pharaoh
that.
kingdoms and the Death
That's a
Rattle
nice
skeletons.
cover.
And as I said before,
Simple.
it allows you to field an entire army just of skeletons. However, that's not all that's in it.
Well, that's your main focus.
I love skeletons. But yes, so we've got all the background, all the lore, all the armies.
There's something about warrior skeletons. For me, it dates back to being a kid and Jason and the Argonauts, and the skeletons rising up out of the ground from the dragon's teeth. And
which they refer to as the
you
Time
could
of
do
Blood.
so much of
Sorry,
that
the Time
with
of
an
Vile
undead
Blood.
army.
Probably
Just
because of
normal
all
Just amazing.
not that tasty.
Amazing.
Fair enough. As normal, and in the battle tome, we've come to expect so everything from battle formations, trait enhancements, spell laws, everything you might expect to see. What's really exciting is that for the first time in a long time, we've got new faction terrain and manifestations for the Soulblight Gravelords.
Cool.
But we're not going to show those quite yet. You'll have to
Why
watch
not?
out for those in the near future.
That'll be a
there are 4
WarCom
battle
article
formations
then.
in the book, including my favourite is the Death Stench Drove, which is all about having a horde of zombies go across the table.
Okay.
The Path to Glory lets you follow the path of either a vampire or a non-vampire hero. And there's 2 armies, of renown in there: the Knights of the Crimson Keep and the Barrow Legion, your favourite one.
Yep.
All about the skeletons, which is cool. And the 2 regiments of renown, which lets you take that Revenant Draconith, and one which again we're going to keep secret for now. There's more coming on that later on, but yeah, absolutely fantastic book as always.
So they're saving some stuff for the preview.
And also in the battle tome is the new spearhead, the Death Rattle Tomb host focusing.
Oh,
on
that's a
those
cool
Death Rattle
spearhead.
skeletons once
That's a
more.
lot of
And
skeletons.
this isn't a replacement
Wow.
for the Bloodgrave Hunt, which is still legal. It just means you're getting an extra spearhead.
So
They're
you've got
doing
the
this with
second
all of the
spearhead
new
for this
battle
time,
tomes. They're
real
just,
skeleton crew, right?
here's
That's
another
what I'm finding
spearhead.
over
It's
one
another way of
spearhead.
playing the army, which I love.
Well, that's the we go. We've got the new spearhead on the way. It's not going to be coming alongside the release. It's going to be a little bit later. So
Yeah, 'cause they're
you may
doing
have
the
to
box.
raise them from
Yeah.
dead a little bit after the release. But we've also got a novel from Black Library coming as well, haven't we?
Do indeed. This is the Masters of Death Omnibus by David Annandale, and it brings
Okay.
together a number of his stories: Neferata, Mortarch of Blood, Neferata, Dominion of Bones, Dynasty of Monsters, a Soulblight Gravelords novel, as well as 3 shorts: The Threshold, Obsidian, The Dance with Skulls. So this
They're
is basically
pretty good, these
your
books.
gateway into the background and the narrative of the Soulblight.
So, Alex,
That's
speaking
kinda cool.
of Black Library, it's time to talk a little bit about this year's Black Library celebration.
Yay, I like these. That was a lot of models they were showing. Shade of Cain. That's a nice model. Is she the one who runs around with Gore-Tex? We're getting a command squad. Holy shit, we're getting a command squad. She gets a lot of models as well. This is her second model. Oh, I love it. I love it. And that was not what I had
Now,
on.
normally we spend a day celebrating Black Library. This year, we're going to go a little bit further, a
I
bit
want
more time,
that
perhaps. And
Minka
we're actually
Lesk one.
releasing some really cool models alongside the Black Library celebration and the books that are coming this time as well.
Wow.
First of all, let's have a look at Malaneth Witchblade.
That's just a
What a
nice,
superb model that is.
nice
Alex,
model.
who is
Great
Malaneth
pose.
And where's she come from?
So Malaneth was one of the daughters of Cain. She was trained as an assassin. She ended up working for the Order of Azir, and as part of that, ended up accompanying Godtrek on a number of his adventures. Now, they didn't get along great. Malaneth attempted to...
Because she has her own book coming out soon, doesn't she?
Still roaming the mortal realms. That did not work out. So despite not being particularly friendly, she did come to sort of have a great respect for him and sort of almost the hope he brought to the mortal realms. And this is coming alongside the Shade of Cain by Evan Dickin, and we showed that off in the last preview.
They
It's
did.
such a beautiful miniature. It really, really is. On the table,
I did wonder if the miniature would be coming out because she had nothing
to use in the game as well. If you'd like to use
Legends,
that
though.
model, she excels in hiding inside units and leaping out. Again, Elven Assassin fans from yesteryear might recognise that.
That's
as
kind of
things happened
cool.
before.
Assassin's Creed
She's
style.
got sort of poison throwing dart she throws at people as well. And a great
Wow.
model as well if you want to use an alternative, maybe as a high gladiatrix in your Daughters of Cain army. And you need to make sure you're visiting Warhammer stores during the Black Library celebration because there'll be some exclusive scenarios to play with her on the tabletop too.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
Which would be very cool. So that's Malaneth Witchblade coming soon. But also for the Black Library celebration, we have
They're
this.
stunning.
This is Hell's Last, a new command squad starring Minka Lesk and her command squad. Alex, who is Minkalesk?
So
That's
Minkalesk is one of the
just Minkalesk
few
as a
survivors of
model
Cadia.
is incredible.
She managed to
That
escape,
sword.
and as a white shield, she then became a guardsman. So the white shield is sort of the planetary defense forces of Cadia.
Hotshot
And she's risen
Laz,
all the way to captain.
normal
This
melter,
is coming out at the same time as the
power
novel of the
axe
same name,
on the
Hell's
commissar.
Yeah, we've seen that's coming from Justin D. Hill.
Indeed.
We've seen Minkalesk in other books before.
Yeah, she has a lovely miniature,
Last
solo
Starship
miniature.
Omnibus is available as well from Black Library. Do check that out. On the field,
Wow.
she's also getting her own Legends data card to use in game as well, should you want to. But it's also a great collector's box set to just paint up.
Yeah,
if you
or
want
just
to
use as a command squad.
miniatures, I mean, Lesko made a great sort of alternative Castellan for your Astra Militarum
Yeah,
force.
true.
I mean, that's Commissar Shand. That would make a great alternative Commissar for your force if you wanted to as well. So just a really beautiful.
It's a pretty nice
miniatures
box
to
for
get-
just
to get
individual
painted on.
extras for your guard. Yeah.
Going from the 41st millennium,
Oh,
we're
nice.
going old to the old.
So I was
world.
wrong about Black Library. I do like the high elves. I prefer these helmets. And I love the blind guy. Was it Athelion? Something? What was I don't know what it was called. They're so old. They're classic though. Oh, I love them. This might be the way I get into Old World. I'm not getting into Old World, but this might be how I get into Old World eventually. Oh, they're so nice. And it was the lion chariots, yeah. With the mane and the... Yeah. Oh, they are gorgeous. Who are the heroes they're bringing back? The blind guy. Bring back the blind guy, I'm in. I think their retcon is low, though. Any army that lets me take a lion as a mount, I'm
So
sold.
the High Elf realms return to the old world, and we're starting off with that wonderful battalion box.
Oh
that
yeah,
we've
they
seen for
they
other
do the
releases. It
boxes,
is
yeah.
jam-packed full of troops. We've got
Wow.
32 spearmen, 32 archers, and those 2 Tyrannoc chariots. Now, they can be built in an alternate way, can't they?
You're right. The Tyrannoc chariot is the one that's pulled by the horses. At the front is the one that's pulled by lions, is the White Lion chariot of Shrace as well. A bit more brutal option. But yeah, the High Elves are a beloved faction in the old world, and it's great to see them coming back. They
Yep.
are as elite as it gets when it comes to forces like this. So all their models are just better than yours, basically. And the elves like telling you
The
about it
elven
as well.
way, yeah.
Yeah, this battalion force is a great way to start an army. It's not just the only thing that's coming alongside the High Elf Realms release, though. There's loads of other plastic models coming too.
Cool.
What have we got, man?
We've got the Lord on Dragon. These are the White Lions of Trace.
I remember them.
The Swordmasters of Hoeth.
I remember
the
them.
Illyrian Reavers, Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers.
Remember
because
that.
Why use gunpowder when this is so reliable?
Yeah.
Well, those are a few of our favourites, right?
yes.
But there is loads more, and I'm sure you'll see some pictures on the
Okay.
community website if you want to go and check those out. But basically, if it was in plastic before, you can pretty much get hold of it now. So High Elf
Ooh.
fans are going to be really happy about
That's a
that.
big claim.
There's loads of miniatures people will recognise from yesteryear, of course, but there are some new models coming alongside the release too, right?
There are indeed. The first is a Shire Vest, the Sentinel of the Silent Isle. This is basically one of the Sea Lord's most capable and
That's a cool looking
warriors.
model.
She's been trusted with the coastal garrison of the
That'll
Silent
be
Isle,
resin.
and she's ascended through the ranks through years of dedicated service. You imagine the elves are quite the meritocracy, and she spent most of her recent years hunting for Norscan raiders because they've been a lot more active.
Oh, that's really cool. I like the fact she's carrying a trident called Matlan's Ire, which is great. She's irritated
Yeah.
with you, and she's going to stab you with a trident. It's great. We've also got the Lord of Shrace, right?
We do indeed. So, Shrace is the land of mountains and forests.
I
It
think I
since the
like
invasion
it.
of Chaos has basically been plagued by horrible beasts.
Yeah.
And so, basically, part of their ritual is you need to go out and hunt one of the white lions.
Yeah,
And
I
you're
do
not
like
deemed
it.
to be a true warrior of Trace without having captured and killed one of these lions, and they tend to bring back the pelts. So, if you're a lord from Trace, you're going to have one of these.
And a giant axe as well.
Oh, yes.
You've got to have one of those too.
Elves and
now Let's have
axes.
a quick check about the Arcane Journal, because those two characters are quite relevant to the book that's coming alongside
Okay.
it. This is, as other players will know, an in-depth look at the history of the High Elves and the stories of their forces, and full rules on how to use their armies outside of the forces of fantasy they will all have in that book, right?
Indeed.
What more can we tell about the background that's in the book here?
This book, as we've seen from past releases, the Elves tend to focus on Ulthuan. However, this Arcane Journal focuses more on their last few holdings in the old world, a lot of their seaborne forces. So Shire Vess has got her own sort of army formation in this, and we think of like elite expeditionary forces.
Okay,
there's some
sounds
stories
cool.
from Corhill Lionmane and the White Lions of Trace as they venture into Bretonia to basically hunt down some Beastmen. Without permission. There's a little bit of diplomatic tomfoolery going on in there, but it's a wonderful read.
The two Armies of Infamy you have mentioned there. The first one is the Sea Guard Garrison. This is an all-Northern army and includes a Shire Vess there, of course, and not to mention lots of different ways to build your models in different ways to represent things like ship's company or that sort of thing.
Okay,
the
cool.
other army is the Trace and War Host. That's the one that led by the Corhill Lionsmane, who is on the way, but we're not going to show him quite yet. And also the model we just saw as well, which represents a High Elf noble with the Shrayson Hunter's Honor, which is quite cool. That's why he carries his big axe, which is nice. Also inside the book you can find historical scenarios, a refight of the Battle of Chalons as Corhill leads his forces against the Beastmen, and brand new units are in that book. Some which will have models which we haven't seen yet, but also quite a lot which show you how to sort of construct your plastic models in a different way. Actually, tells you how to convert models into things like
That's really cool. I didn't know they did that in the books.
Or woodsman or ship's company, that sort of thing. It's a really cool sort of like a conversion guide in there. It's really, really great.
I like that.
So
I might have to pick that book up.
Hey, talking of cool armies,
right? Yes.
Talking of cool armies, Armies on Parade. It's that time to start talking about Armies on Parade again this year.
Already?
It is indeed.
It's November, right?
To announce that Armies on Parade is coming back again for 2025.
Of course it is. Wow, that was a demon print.
15th year of Armies Parade.
15th year. I actually entered its first ever year. That's made me feel really old. That's when I made my first Ultramarines. So it's great to have Armies on Parade back again. Of course, this is the
wow. Some of these are amazing.
Army painting competition.
Indeed.
So if you want to take part in that, it's happening. It's a great deadline to get forces. You've taken part as well.
Oh yes.
Before, yeah.
Probably the last 5 years, I've made sure to do something.
We've got the new categories coming this year. We've sort of made the categories a bit simpler to make sure people can understand what they're going to be. You can enter as a solo entrant. Paint an army yourself, basically. Young bloods for our younger hobbyists. And this time we've got a team category as well, so you can enter as a team. To get all of us Warhammer Plus guys together and paint one together. Maybe we could do that. You never know.
That's a challenge.
Cool. That's a challenge. But yes, we've got Armies on Parade happening this year. Dates and the exact timings of what's going to happen this year and when you need to get stuff painted by will be coming on the Warhammer community website. So
we'll keep an eye out for that. Yeah, that could be fun. I won't take part.
This is going to be my year. I'm going to go for it.
Don't paint fast enough.
Go for a bit of a change. But right, we've got something else to show you now.
Necromunda. Oh, it's Ash Wastes. It's not Delac. A new threat lurks in the Ash Wastes. Oh, they look cool. That's what it is. It's not mechanical. Okay, so this is going to be the Shadar Hunters. They're fully going in that Dune-inspired naming, aren't they? Oh, nice. Fortified hab, sorry. Ruined Underhive sectors again. Ash Wastes upgrades, they look cool. And they're getting their own army book. Amazing. I like their specialists. But you can't use them in the hive, so they're only an Ash Wastes gang.
These are great.
They're beautiful models.
Nomads, right?
So these guys are basically the masters of navigating the wastes and living there. They're scouts, trackers, hunters, that sort of thing.
Isn't dual whips a bit too much?
For the wastelands as well.
Yeah, they're very
so you can see
bestial.
All their weapons tend to be like Helamite claws that have been strapped on, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
Very
they look
sort of
cool.
Old school and in touch with the wastes themselves.
I love the sort of like weird mystical tribalism of this. It's so cool, these models. These are elite gang fighters for Ash Waste Nomads gangs. They've got a really cool ability called Wasteland Ambushes. If you're playing a game in the Wastelands, kind of like a trapdoor spider, they just wait in like in a burrow and just ambush out halfway through the game, which is quite
Dune
fun.
Part 2.
They're completely combat focused. They don't even have access to pistols on their equipment list, which is so
Wow,
just all
ballsy.
about combat. And they're just wonderful, wonderful miniatures. You can take a few of those in your gang if you'd like to, as gang fighters. Yeah, absolutely wonderful things to paint as well. It's really nice to see the Ash Waste Nomads being fleshed out like this.
Yeah.
But Alex, they're being accompanied by these weird little Athramite spine worms. What are these?
Yes. So these things
Pokemon.
are really seen
Little pet
by
Pokemon.
outsiders accompanying the Nomads. So they've adapted really well to survive in Necromunda's toxic environment, and they're incredible burrowers. So they'll go through sand,
Baby sandworms.
ash, rock, flesh. And they're basically their barbed fangs, once they dig into something, are nigh impossible to get rid of. And their saliva contains an anticoagulant, so once they've bit down, that blood's going to
Bleeding.
keep flowing.
Ugh, these things are horrible. They are sort of essentially pets that you can take as equipment for
Wow.
your Shadow Hunters. Each fighter can have up to 2 of them if you really want to take that many.
Necromunda has the
you should
best
be able to.
models.
They have the burrowing
100%.
we talked about. They can burrow in the game as well. They can just burrow through impossible terrain like it wasn't even there, just gnashing their way through walls, which is really, really cool.
Wow.
So wonderful little models there as well. But also coming alongside these is the Nomad weapon upgrades. Okay, we've got a lot of guns and a lot of stuff in here. What have we got, man?
Very rusty. You can see a lot of
Banners as well.
carbines, heavy blasters, web pistols, web guns, notably
That plasma?
scavenged autogun,
Yes.
because they don't obviously have manufacturing
That
facilities. of their own.
plasma? No, that looks like a
These
bolt.
are basically completing all the weapon options for your
Yeah.
Ash Waste Nomads gang. So
It's been a while. Been waiting for a couple of years for
You may not
these.
have been able to get hold of before. Now you can. This is your complete equipment list, but it also contains things like extra heads, shoulder pads, sky mantles. So it's not just weapons. It's basically a conversion box for your and a customization box for your Ash Waste Nomad gang. You want to get hold of this if you possibly can. But all of this, of course, is coming alongside the Tribes of the Wastelands book.
That's a book I might
So
pick up.
This is basically your house book for your Ash Waste Nomads.
Yeah.
However, it's not told from their point of view. So nobody's really spoken to the Nomads before. So this is told by an outsider, basically describing things. So all
Volo.
the terms we have for the Nomads are well, they come from people who aren't the Nomads themselves. And it talks about the 3 sort of sub-factions, sort of like the Yellow Nomads, etc. And it details
Nice.
a lot of the beasts, the Helamites. But it also describes their electrostatic weaponry, because they tend to avoid machines, because this is a really good way to stop any machine. So why would you not ride on various beasts?
Oh, also they're trying to hunt down those beasts and stop them, and shocking them with static means they fall over and can capture them to ride on them, which is perfect. Inside the book, you can find lots of rules. The great tribes you mentioned there have been expanded upon. The Nomads get their very own trading post as well, which is
Oh,
great.
cool. Makes
Lots of,
sense.
strange and exotic items on there.
Yeah,
There's
makes
2
sense.
themed scenarios for people to play, as well as hired guns, hangers-on, dramatis personae, everything you
Okay.
expect from a house book right here for the Ash Waste Nomads. So if you're a Nomads player, you want to get your cowled hands on
Definitely been waiting for that
But
book.
that's not all that's coming from
Definitely been waiting for
There
that
are
book.
Also, some terrain kits.
Nice.
Yes.
The Phatos pattern fortified hab.
I love
module.
these habs. They're
This is
so nice.
basically,
I'd love a board of these.
Really nice armored. I'd say a little safe zone out in the wastes. You can
Do they
see there
still
it's got
sell
those
them?
Turrets on top. Now it doesn't come with any rules for those, do they?
No, it's got some grenade launchers and heavy stubbers. They're mounted on the sides, and players can sort of decide how they want to use those if they want to. You can upgrade them to have those if you really want, but there's every chance that those might fall into the hands of the enemy, so maybe not worth spending the creds on them there. But it's just a really cool upgraded version of the Phatos Pannon hab models we've seen before. To have those extra bits on top of it is a really nice addition to your collection to sort of make your outland hub settlement look a little bit, well, you say safe. It's still the Ash Wastes, right?
Oh yes.
That's not all the terrain we've got coming. There's also the Zone Mortalis ruins, the ruined Underhive sector here as well.
I love
This is
these as
essentially,
well.
3 sets of the existing ruined Zone
it's the
Mortalis
full
terrain
thing.
sets
Right,
come together
okay.
into one
Nice,
box,
nice.
bundled
You
together
can still buy
to make it
those.
really easy to purchase.
Phatos
How many do
pattern.
you reckon you're going to get?
Hab modules.
At least one, because I think just with one set you can get a
The
nice
ruin's really
Necromunda
nice.
board.
Yeah.
But if you got 2 sets, you'd have multiple layers and
It's a
Yeah.
dream board, isn't it? And imagine, I mean, Warhammer 40,000 players as well. Imagine playing a game of
yes.
Warhammer 40,000 this as well would be
boarding
great.
actions.
Yeah.
So,
Boarding
those are
actions through,
coming-
that would be
those are coming
amazing.
soon. There we go.
Right, so looking a bit further into the future, we've got Kill Team, which is going to be continuing to get boxes throughout the year. Underworlds, as we saw, got a brand new edition. We showed off a little roadmap a few months ago. That's going to continue to get releases going forward. Middle Earth, of course, has just got a brand new release. The Horus Heresy. Now, Heresy Thursdays are
They
back.
didn't say Middle Earth was
Keep an eye
getting
on the
more.
Warhammer community for more information. There's
Excellent.
models, there's information coming up. It's brilliant. Black Library Celebration, as we've said, is coming up in February.
Oh, is it February? Okay.
WarCom is going to have news for all of those, but the old world. Now, we've seen a whole host of stuff come out for the old world, and we've just shown off the High Elf realms. And if you've been keeping track, based on what we showed off, there are 2 more factions to come. Yeah. The Beastmen Brayherds and the Wood Elf realms.
So we can confirm they are on the way.
Yes.
They are in the near to soon future for old world players. And they're
near to soon
as well, which we won't know about. So
they're expanding old world. That's cool. I like these teases. They've definitely got these.
Reveal for Space Marine 2. So
awesome.
Last year we saw Space Marine
6 million players.
We've all
over 6 million players.
Death, man. I'm like level 22 on PvP right now. I love this game so much.
There are over 5 million players, which of course means that Focus and Saber have all the more reason to continue to keep developing the game. Yep. New weapons, enemies, maps, skins. And now there's going to be another PvP game mode, new PvE maps, and more cosmetics for various chapters.
That's fantastic.
And we can reveal that the next enemy that you're going to get to destroy
is
a
cool.
Tyranid Biovore.
Oh, good. Like, I can't wait to hit that thing with a chainsaw and execute it and get my health back. It's such a wonderful game to play.
They're going to be horrible.
Folks watching it will have played it a lot. And Biovore's coming soon, as well as all of that cool extra stuff. It's going to be
I'm waiting for the Horde mode. Horde mode will get me back into that game.
Warhammer Age of Sigmar.
Okay.
So, we showed it from the last preview. Auric War Clans and Gloomspite gear.
I quite like how they're doing this.
Soulblight Gravelords and the Path to Glory book for narrative players.
Gives you an idea of what's happening.
There's some more stuff coming. We've got the
Odineth
Deepkin and the Night Haunt coming, fairly soon.
Fairly soon, okay.
Notoriously very fast moving, so hopefully they'll be here quite soon. Both of those forces, but that's Nordor as well.
Can we get a Middle Earth?
A bit further on the horizon. Well, we're not going to tell you what's coming. We're just going to show you some cryptic pictures, and hopefully you can work out.
We'll figure it out. It's Khorne. It's the floaty dwarf things.
What about you?
And
maybe 3.
Maybe 3. All right.
I think
what's the wing?
We'll be able to figure out what these are. Given a bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me know in the comments what that wing is.
Are going to be far in the comments down below. We want to see what you think, and of course, even further out, we're going to be even more cryptic. No idea what that could be, but we want to hear your guesses for sure.
It's a silhouette.
It's definitely a thing.
I like how they're doing this. These teasers are good. They give us an idea of what is actually coming. That looked like the Lizardmen to me.
Dari and Deathcore of Krieg.
Yep.
And at Christmas, we revealed Fulgrim.
Now, Fulgrim, of course, is not just a great model in himself, but is also the herald of the Emperor's Children coming. We've been teasing you guys for a long time.
Yeah.
The Emperor's Children are on the horizon very, very shortly. What's coming after those guys?
Yes, a little bit further out, we've got the World Eaters. The Death
very, very shortly, apparently.
1,000 Suns. However,
all the chaosy stuff.
Further in the future, we also have, again,
more stuff.
4 more cryptic releases.
Yeah, okay.
Salamanders?
At least 2 of those. There we go. That's what's coming on the horizon.
Black Templars.
Again, what's even further out? No
Exodite. That's an Exodite.
I think it's a Lictor.
It could be 2 Votan warriors stood on each other's heads.
Yes.
We don't know. It could be. Again, let us know what you think it could be, but that's what's coming in the future.
It's
now, Alex.
Elf with a hood, right?
Just talked about the Emperor's Children there.
Yes.
We didn't say Fulgrim. We said the
Eldar
Emperor's
on dinosaurs would be so cool.
We've been teasing you guys out there for an awful long time.
Are we going to see the full range?
I think it's time to have a look.
Yes, indeed.
Here we go.
Oh, this is a hell of a preview. It's not even for stuff that I want, but I like that power sword. It's not even for stuff that I want, but this stuff is really cool. The Noise Marines look much better. Much, much better. Tormentors, they look cool. That's a nice model. Flawless Blades. Wow. Lord Exultant. Exultant, sorry. The hell is that? I did say it would be Lucius the Eternal. Wow. That's quite a range.
Okay, they're here.
Wow.
It's finally time to
They
talk
look amazing.
about the Emperor's Children. You guys have been waiting. Let's go for it. Now, at Christmas,
I
we
didn't
showed
think
off
they would look
Fulgrim,
that good.
the demon Primarch of the Emperor's Children, of course.
Still prefer the
what a
resin
Christmas
one.
gift that was for all of us. Alex, for those not in the know, who is Fulgrim? Why they're important?
So Fulgrim was the demon Primarch of the Emperor's Children, and basically where he once pursued sort of perfection and mastery, he's now become the embodiment of obsession. He shed his mortal form and has basically become this demonic entity. He's spent most of his time both in the warp and in real space desperately trying to seek
He has
new
been
sensations and
popping up in
occasionally
recent and
returning
current
to
40k
wreak havoc
lore. He's
and
been
ultimately
referenced in the
some
Acts of Omen.
Primarch in blue.
We're not going to talk about that. It doesn't appear in the Ultramarine records. It's just the most stunning miniature. I've seen it up close as well. It's just beautiful.
I think seeing it up
huge,
close
and
will
just
be
what a
better.
centerpiece that's going to be for a table. And yeah, long awaited return for Fulgrim
Yeah.
to the 41st millennium. On the gaming table, as you can imagine, Fulgrim is an absolute monster and will cut down swathes of enemies with their malefic lash, demonic blades, and serpentine tail, just causing havoc. They can issue demonic poisons on the battlefield. I'm told that they once poisoned my Primarch at some point. We're going to talk about maybe on the battle. You can do that too, and you can choose demonic powers each battle round, much like other Primarchs can do as well. And one of those is that they can always fight first, which is just incredible.
Yes.
As a heads up, my colleague Simon and I from Battle Report had a one-on-one Fulgrim versus Angron just before Christmas, and Fulgrim won all three. I mean, it was just great.
Wow.
So there we go. Fulgrim on the way. Monstrous on the table and long awaited. You've got to get your paintbrush on that one. But let's talk about the army set we've seen as well. And there's the Children of Slesh army set.
Wow, they look incredible.
Brand new miniatures. Packed to the gills, brand new miniatures.
Even the Noise
first
Marines,
up
who
is the
look
Lord
so
Exultant there, the new
so
Lord choice. Up to that
stupid,
second, you've got
like
Tormentors,
comically
who
stupid
are the sort of battle line units. The Infractors, who are the combat
originally,
units,
and
of
worse
course,
now,
the
and show
Noise
their
Marines
age.
are back as well.
They
with
look
their huge
amazing.
sonic weaponry, as well as the Codex is in there too. Right, let's break this down. Okay,
I like
we'll start
that
off
box.
then with the Lord Exultant, who is the new
Wow.
Lord choice for the Emperor's Children. Who is a Lord Exultant, and why do they have the coolest cloak going in the 41st millennium?
So these guys basically embody everything that the Emperor's Children are. They are desperately seeking more experiences, sensation in all its forms. They've had loads of various surgeries and stims to basically enhance their sensory abilities, basically receiving signals that would drive anybody else insane. But it does give them rather special abilities, even for a Space Marine. So, they can detect an assassin in the breeze.
Oh, wow.
The faintest trail of fuel use somewhere else. They can feel the vibrations in the floor for approaching enemies. They're just incredible combatants.
They're just so cool. And the actual model itself here as well has loads of options as well. So it's a multi-part kit. You can have a Phoenix Power Spear, Mastercrafted Power Sword, or something called a Screamer Pistol, which is like a pistol version of a sonic weapon, which is really cool. You can have a Rupture Lash, or a Plasma Pistol as well, or a Power Fist. This thing's got loads of options, head options, icon options. There's loads of things you can do with this model.
That's really cool.
And in the game, you're talking about sort of like trying to find those big experiences. Once per battle, they can go into Euphoric Strikes mode and just try and experience everything, and they get super horrible in combat, which is just great.
Wow.
So wonderful miniature, great on the tabletop. But they lead the forces, and we'll start off talking about the Tormentors.
They look cool.
These are the sort of your sort of battle line unit with bolt guns.
Yeah, bog
Tell me about
standard
these guys.
troops.
Who are they?
So yeah, these guys are tactically flexible. They tend to fight at range. They see themselves as sort of exemplars of what a Space Marine should be.
Yeah.
Like they take a look at the loyalists and think, not even close. They've got an awful lot of pride, and they basically have a habit of assigning themselves missions and targets, and most generals kind of think of that as an acceptable cost for having them on their side. They hate performing basically what they would see as tedious tasks, so they don't like guard duty.
That's fair enough. There's the kit itself is just jam-packed full of options, different heads, different shoulder pads. We've seen a few of the options shown sneakily off on the Warhammer Community website over the last
I think
few
they
months.
look really nice.
But this is the final kit here in front of you. On the tabletop,
The
they've got
helmets, the new
OC2
helmets
battle line
are
unit,
really
for
cool.
holding Objectives. They can even defile
Really cool.
objectives. Don't think about it. We're making them sticky objectives, basically. They are infiltrators. They can actually sneak
I
forward
bet they
before the
do.
battle begins, which is great. So expect serious board control from these guys. Just great miniatures, really are. And alongside those are the combat units unit, the Infractors.
They're amazing.
Indeed.
I do like a combat unit,
These guys
but
are all about
these
getting
look
up
really
close
cool.
and
I
personal.
love
They
the,
sort of
the
live thrill
backpacks,
of
the power
combat,
packs
and
as
they
well.
tend to dose themselves up on toxins and stims, basically to elevate that sensation. And there's a
That's the
wonderful
kill
term in
team.
the codex, which is
Yeah?
called
Do we think?
murderous orchestra. Which is just, it's almost like killing as an art form.
I love these guys. In game terms, they are scouts. They start the game a bit further forwards, but also
Nice.
they're movement 7 on the battlefield. You'll find that just about everything in the army is faster than standard Space Marines.
Wow.
And they have precision on their weapons as well, so enemy heroes beware.
Reavers,
Just
but
beautiful
good.
models, and they're so fast, you might not even need to put them in a rhino, but you might want to. Okay, so also in the army set are 2 squads of Noise Marines. These guys are, again, beloved, and we've seen them before, but who are the Noise Marines, this special cult of
So
the
much
individual?
better,
So
these.
they're basically
These look
champions of
amazing.
Slaanesh that desire the experience of sound, and they want to have it to the extreme. So they've various stims, and they've had grafted organs, some of them of Xenos origin, to allow them
Okay.
both to hear sound better, but also to admit it. They've got various warp mutations, and they carry weaponry that can emit, say, really powerful bass tones that'll shatter bones, horrifying metallic screeches that'll make your head explode. Really, sound is their jam.
This is so Slaaneshi. I absolutely love these guys. There are 6 models in the box, of course, the blessed number of Slaanesh.
Box of 6.
They are bigger and tougher than other Marines. Think Havoc
Cool.
equivalents from Chaos Space
Yes.
Marines. And they carry all manner
Nice.
of sonic weaponry. Sonic blasters are the sort of standard gun, as it were. And they also carry these blast masters, which can be tuned to different frequencies to destroy armored targets or to rupture the eardrums of numerous hordes.
Wow.
They're just the
Wow,
coolest models.
wow,
They're by the
wow.
Disharmonist
They are
there, their
amazing.
leader, who's got amplifiers on his shoulders, as they all have.
They sound
Just
really
the
cool as well.
coolest box. And there's 2 units of them in the army deal as well. So do a
Nice.
hold of that. But the army set isn't the only thing that's coming for the Emperor's Children. Let's have a look at some more. And of course, one of the most famous heroes for the whole Chaos faction, Lucius the Eternal.
That's
Tell
an
me about this guy.
insane model.
So Lucius
Really
Eternal,
nice glow
I like
up.
to think he's the best swordsman in existence. He's basically one of the greatest champions of the Emperor's Children, and he seeks out equal paragons amongst enemy forces. So he'll hunt down your characters, your blade masters, that sort of thing. He basically wants to test his skills. However, he has not always succeeded. But should he be struck down, if you take even a minuscule moment of satisfaction
Wow.
in your kill, you will turn into Lucius.
Oh, that's
And your
incredible.
face will be resplendent on his armor for all eternity. Now, the armor is sort of a double-edged sword in this regard, because
Oh, they
every
have the
face
faces on
is
it as
obviously
well.
somebody that he's not killed, and that
Wow.
wounds his pride more than anything, and has kind of driven
And the
him
whip is a
little bit insane.
wow.
He holds an awful lot
Wow.
of contempt for everyone and everything.
How Slaaneshi. I love this miniature. It's incredible. And you can really tell sort of the pride and arrogance really coming across on it. On the battlefield, they are an incredibly skilled fighter. They use their Blade of Lair and the Lash of Torment to subdue hordes of enemies, which is cool. He's actually a lone operative, but can still.
I thought
join
he might
units,
be a lone
but
op.
when he fights alone, he is just better. Because he fights alone. Basically, don't let this fighter anywhere near your warlord because he's going to kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
That's a brilliant
imagine.
model. And alongside Lucius, we also have the elite unit, the Flawless Blades.
Indeed.
Tell me
They're
about these
cool.
guys, Al.
They're
these
really
guys are
cool.
basically sort of an evolution of the Palatine blades from the Legion of old. They are the paragons of close combat.
They're the Blade
armed
Guard
with
variant,
the blade.
basically.
They have demonic patrons. That
I think that's
like
how
to
they're
keep
going
an
with
eye
this
on what they're
stuff.
up to, and they basically need to keep impressing them with the best kills, the most dramatic flair. They dose themselves up on stims all throughout. But their
Okay.
incredible pride means that they never want to share their form, so they're never going to get sort of completely taken over by a demon, but they're more than happy to accept their gifts.
They're just stunning models, aren't they? Really are. 3 models in a box, loads and loads of options to customize your miniatures to make
Nice.
them as prideful as you want them to. On the battlefield, they are horrifying combatants, as you can well imagine, wielding their
Strike
beast blades
first.
there with terrifying skill. Now, Alex, you talked about those demonic patrons in their lore as well, and on the battlefield, that's represented. They can call upon these dark powers to give them extra powers in combat. But at a risk, because if they don't actually get any kills, they're punished with their own deaths.
I love those
it's a
kind of
big
rules.
risk, but really quite very Slaaneshi and
That's so
very fun
cool.
too. Now, also coming for the Emperor's Children is the Lord Cacophonist, who's this incredible miniature with a
Yeah.
huge amplifier on his back. Tell me more.
So these guys, as with the noise
It's
Marines,
Bane.
are obsessed with sound, namely the extremes of sound, able to issue sonic assaults at basically any scale. They're believed by some to actually be able to cause vibrations within the warp itself.
That's cool.
Oh, that's cool.
So these guys are basically surgically sculpted even beyond the normal noise marine. And
Wow.
the magnifier on their back is the doom siren, and that basically
Of
magnifies.
course it is.
every
Yeah, of
punch.
course it is.
It's like ASMR, but for Slaneshi Marines. It's awesome. We've got the options on the kit. You can have Screamer pistols or a power sword there as well. He's got a rule called Obsessive Enunciation, which, if he joins Noise Marines, give them sustained hits, which is just incredible. Yeah, he can use the Doom Siren to blow people's heads up as well, which is just great. A wonderful miniature, very Slaneshi. And if you get Noise Marines, get hold of one of these as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, also coming for the Emperor's Children in the future is the Combat Patrol. It's called the Callous Blades inside the Codex. It's not coming quite yet, but it will be coming in the future, and it's a seriously combat-focused combat patrol there. So
That's what I
6
want.
of the Flawless Blades, 10 of the Infractors, and a Lord Exultant, so you can really get stuck in.
That's all the models
It'll be
that I
horrifying, but yeah, coming
Right,
later,
I'm going
not
Combat
quite
Patrol.
yet. Now, of course, in the Army
Wow,
set
amazing.
is coming the Emperor's Children Codex. This one's been waited for
That's
a long
beautiful
time
art.
by hobbyists out there. Tell
Beautiful.
me, what's the first thing that caught your eye?
Oh, so
So messed up.
This is a work of perfection. It's got everything from the background and the lore in it, a little bit of explanation about what Fulgrim's been up to, how the Emperor's Children, various war bands have been fractured. But my favorite
cool.
thing is these little cutouts that appear on various pages, basically describing the stims, the toxins, the drugs that the Emperor's Children
That's
have been
cool.
using. And one
That's
of my favorites
really
is
cool.
Scalathraxine dust, which is basically this crystalline powder that they put in their eyes that grows crystals and would drive anybody else mad. But the Emperor's Children love it.
Warhammer 40,000 is really grim. I love it. Of course, gamers can expect to find everything they usually find inside a codex, from all the army rules.
Broken
They've got a new army
rules,
rule called Thrill Seekers, where the army can
spelling
advance
mistakes,
or fall back
keywords
and
missed
still
off.
charge, but with a few restrictions, but it's still
That's just the
exciting.
Guard Codex.
6 new detachments, which let you achieve various levels of perfection in there. And we've got lots of models. All the models we've seen are included, of course, all the rules in there, as well as other models also available right now. So if you wanted to start your forces right now to get ready for this, you could paint some Terminators, a Helldrake, a Demon Prince, Rhinos, Land Raiders, Spawn are in there, Mauler Fiends too. And what's really exciting is the Slaneshi Demons are included in the book as well.
That's what they're
So if
doing.
you
They've
wanted
confirmed
a
it.
fiend or a greater demon of Slanesh, this is your opportunity.
They are
Absolutely,
getting
you
rid
can
of
include your
demons and they
Slaneshi
are
demons
splitting them into
alongside your
the
Emperor's
4
Children
relevant
on the
gods.
tabletop,
Yeah.
which is just great. So yeah,
This has
Keeper
been
Secret
rumoured
training
for a
around
long
alongside
time.
Fulgrim would be a terrifying prospect to face.
So
We've got
the
Crusade rules
the
in there
Chaos
as
Demons
well.
rules that we
Inside the
got
Crusade, you're gonna
that
love
I
this.
didn't cover, that's the
idea
only one I
here
didn't
is that they're
cover.
on a sort of
In the
journey to
Advent
try and find
calendar,
exotic and rare
is going to be the only
ingredients
way
to
you
mix
can
up
do.
with
You
strange
couldn't do mixed
elixirs
demons though,
that will
could
then
you?
have horrifying results.
Maybe
for
you
the
can't do mixed
combatants as
demons
well.
anymore.
Just really cool, and of course the usual amount of new artwork.
They're going to have
Great
to
miniatures
explain
in
that
there
at
as
some
well.
point.
It's an
Because that's a
absolute
big
must-get
change to
for
Demons
Children
players.
fans.
Massive.
Oh, I'm so excited for these guys, even though they hurt my Primarch.
They look amazing. Each of those
So we've
models
seen
look
some
so cool.
fantastic stuff there from Age of Sigmar. We've seen the High Elf Realms from the Old World, and ending with those Emperor's Children. It's
What
been
was the Druid
fantastic.
thing?
And Necromunda 2, of course, you saw in there as well.
Indeed.
Those black
And the
Library
Knights.
monsters
We
were so
didn't see
good
anything
too.
on the
It's
Knights.
been a really great preview, man.
Yep. Now, thank you everybody for watching. If you're over at LVO, I hope you're having a fantastic time. If you want more details on all of these and some of the things that we've not shown off, head over to the Warhammer community website. Remember to follow us on Facebook.
We'll
X,
bounce over there
YouTube,
next and see what's
Instagram.
going on.
And thank you for joining me, Nick.
It's been a few hours, so they should have updated.
See ya.
No more. Is that it? We're done? We are done. Right, okay, bear with. I'm going to load up WarCom. In fact, I can just do it here. And we'll actually take a little look and see what's going on, because there's stuff that they didn't reveal. There's loads of stuff that they didn't reveal on the stream. So we also have, it's not a druid, it's a beastman. We have a new Nurgle character. We have some Thanatar Calyx. That's all I'm pretty sure. Right, okay. Let's head over to WarCom. So this might have them in order. We have Soulblight Gravelords, which looked amazing. We have the new Black Library stuff. I love that command squad. That's so nice. High Elves, Armies on Parade, the wonderful, wonderful Necromunda Ash Wastes models. But that wasn't shown off unless I fell asleep. That wasn't shown off. That wasn't shown off. The Emperor's Children were. Okay, so this is the Might of the Mechanicum for Horus Heresy, Thanatar Calyx. He looks like a big model. It's proper Heresy, it's not baby Heresy, so that's good. Let me get rid of my headphones. Why did they not show these off? Just make the preview an hour long. Just do it. So ever since the Mechanicum was unleashed upon the Age of Darkness with a range of new plastic kits, the Thanatar Siege Automata has been a deadly force looming over its mechanical comrades. The current variant, known as the Thanatar Kvass, mounts a deadly plasma mortar for long-range Space Marine slaying. But those with a canny eye will know that within the Liber Mechanicum forces of the Omnissiah lies the other half of a deadly duo, the Thanatar Calyx Siege Automata. Is that some sort of heavy bolter? Because that looks amazing. It's a stunning model. Why didn't they show it off? Unlike its widely destructive compare, the Calyx is concerned solely with the eradication of singularly durable targets, be they rumbling war machines or fortifications. Its main armament is a massive Solex pattern heavy las cannon that puts other weapons in its class to shame, with enough power to spear right through the armor of a super heavy tank and disable its target's matrices with devastating shock pulse. Any enemies who think themselves safer up close and personal will find an equally lethal graviton ram strapped to its arm. What? Wow. That looks very Tau-like, actually. A poorly understood weapon that pulps flesh in sensitive systems alike, no matter how thick the armor protecting them. This pair of weapons makes the Thanatar Calyx a terrifying prospect for elite opponents that other units could struggle to scratch. So he is your big, big boy. Still more to see from Warhammer the Horus Heresy as Heresy Thursday continues, with a new character taking center stage next week. In the meantime, LVO open stuff. Okay, should have shown that off. We then have the horns and hoofbeats of the Beastmen hordes. Oh, he's got a pet with the skull mask. That's amazing. Across the old world, the Beastmen Brayherds furtively lurk in the darkest forests. Twisted by chaos, they are wild, crude creatures who desire nothing less than the complete destruction of everything beautiful or civilized. They are not without their own traditions, however, and when Morghur the Shadowgave prophesied the birth of a blind beastman who would help plunge the worlds into darkness, they took care to set aside a mewling newborn that would grow up into Kralmor, the prophet of ruin, so he is a blind seer. Prodigiously skilled at manipulating the winds of magic to his will, Kralmor was revered even among the Bray shamans. He entered this epithet with the visions of the chaos gods sent him, divining the future with unerring accuracy, and marshaled the Bray herds against the forces of Athel Loren. Is that an elf? He was not present when the Wood Elves killed Morghur, but he received a simultaneous vision of death and rebirth within some shrouded woodland clearing. And now Kralmor stalks the land seeking the infant who will one day rise to become the Shadowgave once more. This cloven clairvoyant knows the future of the old world and has presented us a glimpse. So that's the little baby thing that he's protecting. It's a very detailed model. It's very nice. Right, so Beastmen are coming. High Elves will be soonish. I would expect February. If they're previewing them now and they've got all this to... A lot of what they've shown off in the reveal, they were saying coming soon or sooner, basically. So Beastmen will probably be hot on the heels of the High Elves, and then we've got the Wood Elves and something else. I wonder what that something else could be. I think Old World fans would love it to be Skaven, right? But will they actually do that? We'll see. We will see. I don't know enough about Old World, but I'm interested in Wood Elf realms. The High Elf stuff was amazing, and there's more to come in the future. And then the final thing that they didn't show off was a new Pox Marine. They did tease that the codex is for Thousand Suns. In fact, we'll see if we can grab those images again. But Nurgle coughs up the Lord of Poxes. He would fit right in with an Ash Wastes army, wouldn't he? Wow. He's good. Oh, so they're coming next, is it? Right, cool, we can touch on that. So, the great god of plagues has a thing for inevitability. His contagions leave masses of Fesson decay will eventually sprout new life, only to spread the self-same diseases that brought their original hosts low. And so it goes on until entropy has its way. His loyal servants thus plod into battle over and over, sharing his gifts with phlegmatic aplomb, and few are so efficient as the Lord of Poxes. So I'm guessing this is confirming that... Oh, is this the model that was leaked? This might be the model that was leaked, which is why they didn't show it off, but they're revealing it here. Oh, okay. But the Beastmen, they completely skipped. They even talked about Beastmen. And they had it on the thumbnail, and the robot thing. Champions of the Death Guard who reach a high enough rank will adopt one of the mantles of corruption. Each is an innovation of Mortarion, a dedication to a certain septic approach to warfare. Released through special wargear, we've met Lords of Virulence and Contagion, and the Lords of Poxes now swell the ranks. These are equipped with a miasmic turbine, a device of rusted blades and rattling engines that readily vomits contagion into the air. Sounds gross. These viruses are incubated within the lungs of the wearer themselves. Spores extracted and mixed with incubating fluids to create clouds of corrosive vapor that ignores the laws of nature to spread. Seeking new victims to infect, this fetid fog also has the added benefit of occluding the Death Guard's lumbering advance. That's a strong rule set. If what they're saying in the lore is going to equate to rules, that's very strong. So, 40k coming soon. Well, now. Astra Militarum, that box is out, so we're just waiting on the extra units in the codex for the Krieg. Aldari has been fully teased off, we think. That was the last preview. Amazing models. They will probably be February, I would guess, some point in February. Emperor's Children is apparently coming now as well, so is it going to be no, surely it's not going to be Aldari and then Emperor's Children on the same weekend. Because Emperor's Children is a whole new thing. So maybe it'll be Aldari, because that was all new units, single models, and the codex. There's no army box with that I remember. And then it'll be the Emperor's Children army box, and then the rest of that will come through. We've just seen a new Death Guard model, which will be probably the only new kit for their codex. World Eaters will probably get one new model as well then, and Thousand Suns. But the reason that Emperor's Children, World Eaters, Death Guard and Thousand Suns is all coming so close to each other is because they're putting the relevant demon factions into those rules. And then what do we have? So they are teasing, I think that's I mean, that's definitely salamanders. That couldn't be anything other than salamanders on the horizon. And that, just the cross with the axe, that is Black Templars. Are they splitting out the factions again? Is that what's happening here? They really should. There's no reason why they shouldn't. So salamanders is number 2. Black Templars is number 3. I am going to go Vashtor as number 4. Some sort of Vashtor army. Maybe an Agents of Chaos, like they did with Agents of the Imperium, because it's Guard or Traitor Guard. Yeah, potentially, that's what I'm going to go for. Because that's mechanical. They're purposefully showing off the mechanical. That's not a demon. And Chaos have had their codex, and the other 4 sub-factions are here. So what could number 1 be? I think the Chalice is throwing me off completely. You're going to have to let me know if I'm barking up the wrong tree in the comments. My gut says Grey Knights. It's definitely power armor. It's the chalice. But that's not a chalice, is it? That's a sword. Skull and a sword. It just looked like a chalice. Yeah, it's Grey Knights. So Grey Knights, Salamanders, Black Templars, and then either Minions of Vashtor or Agents of Chaos. But we're going to have to get a serious Grey Knight upgrade to tackle all of these changes to demons. And you'd release demons and then you'd have Grey Knights coming soon because they're the Imperial equivalent of demons, right? Okay, they've said so much. They've really crammed a lot in, and they could have done an extra 15 minutes with these new reveals as well. But that's a really cool looking model. I'm not going to look at these. I'm just going to quickly skim through that. That's such a cool picture. So Fulgrim and his book. Lucius the Eternal. Wow. Yeah, these are amazing. Really, really nice glow up and expansion of. I love these guys. It's the poses, it's the swords. I love these guys as well. They're basically the scouts for the Emperor's Children, which is nice to see them represented. Champions of Slaanesh gives you everything, the codex, the fancy codex with the cards. And that's the miniatures. That's the actual codex cover, that's cool. What it doesn't show off is the spearhead, not the spearhead, the combat patrol, but they did say it was these guys, 2 units of these guys, and that guy, which is honestly all of the models that I like. They're my favourite models in his. Oh, different heads. Yeah, very cool. Necromunda, anything new being shown off? These are so nice as well. Really, really nice. And the pets, and the sprue, and the book, and the terrain, and the big box of Ruined Hive sector. Nice. Armies on Parade we don't need to touch. Is there anything else shown off here? Transfer sheet. A lot of... Was it Trace? Were they saying? That's a beautiful model. The Shire vest, that's amazing. Really like that. And I'm guessing that's a bow on her back. The Reavers, returning plastic kits. So we have the dragon with the High Elf Lord on. We have the Flappy Bird thing. Nice standard bearer. I remember these knights as well. I remember that one. I don't remember that one, but they're cool. And all of the mounted stuff. They're just so cool. I do love these models. This might be the thing that gets me into Old World, even though I'm very against Old World. These guys, were they shadow swords? Swift swords? Whatever. These guys were my favorite. I just love these models. It's the cloaks and the swords and the bows, and yeah, they're awesome. Such a nostalgia hit, all of this stuff. Eagle chariots, yeah. The repeater throwers, yeah. And then the chariots. The lion chariot was always cool. Returning metal kits. We have Corhill Lion Mane and Handmaiden of the Everqueen, both amazing models. I remember that guy. Don't remember her, I remember that one. I'm falling in love with these. I'm not doing Old World. I might pick up some of the models. I am not doing Old World. Do not let me do Old World. Black Library, we saw these. Beautiful command squad. And just an amazing... Even if you're just subbing it in as a command squad or using Veteran Trooper, Commissar, you know, a Castellan, or just use them as a command squad. They're amazing. They just add extra character. Really cool. I would probably pick those up if I could. And I really do want to read the Minka-esque books, so let me know in the comments if they're any good. And then what was she called? Malineth. Just a beautiful pose. I wouldn't use the model for anything, I don't think. But a really beautiful pose, very assassin-y. Very, very cool. Anything new up here? So that's the Death Rattle army box. Again, looks like a really good army box. And if it's the same price as the Krieg army box, you get so many more models in this. This actually reminds me of the Dark Oath, with a leader on horse, 5 riders, and then 20 models. It's a carbon copy of the Dark Oath box from last year. But absolutely stunning models. I'm just looking for new things, really. That guy was cool, but I just much prefer that. That undead dragon, amazing. Okay, so we have a Vampire Lord on horse that makes 2 characters. That wasn't shown off. There's the Tomb Host, that's the Spearhead. That's the front cover of the Codex of the Battle Tome, the normal Battle Tome. And the book, and on the horizon. So what have we got here? We know that, well, Uruks are up for pre-order now. They're out next weekend, I think. No, they're out this weekend. Grimspike Gates will be next, so I'm guessing they're going to be, if not end of this month, then February. Gravelords, they've just shown off. Path to Glory is out this weekend. My order has just been dispatched. So that should be here Monday. We can go over that next week. I'm really looking forward to that. They then confirmed Ideneth Deepkin and Nighthawk coming next, so February, March time, I'd guess. On the horizon, that's going to be the Blades of Khorne. That is the, I can't remember what they're called, the floaty dwarves. Why can't I remember them? But you know who I mean. The steampunk dwarves. And that wing, I don't know what that is. You'll have to let me know in the comments. But that's definitely undead, right? Some sort of undead thing. Could it be could that be Flesh Eater Courts? Actually, because I thought this would be Flesh Eater Courts, but it's because I just get the undead stuff mixed up. Because you'd then have a Chaos, Order, Destruction. No, Death. Destruction, Destruction, Death, Order, Death, Chaos, Order. That's a lot of death factions coming. Yeah, I'm gonna go Flesh Eater Courts on that one. They revealed so much more on WarCom than they did in that actual reveal. Like, it's only little individual miniatures, and I kind of get why. I wish they hadn't, just make the previews longer. But all in all, that was a pretty good preview. In fact, let's bounce back over to that so I can just give you my thoughts. Really good preview. I would, if you want to check it out without me talking over it, I will link this article specifically. So all of the reveals are there for you. All the videos, all the models to look at. Really, really strong. I think the Necromunda stuff is my favorite, honestly. Is it? I love these. I do love the Fremen. Necromunda Fremen. No, it can't be, can it? It's got to be Emperor's Children. It has to be Emperor's Children, because that miniature is incredible, and all the options. They're amazing. They're exactly how I want swordsmen and duelists to look, especially for Chaos. Incredible. And the posing is just so fluid, dynamic. Like they're ready to strike, or they're dodging or parrying a blow. Really cool models. And I love the difference in the backpacks. Power packs are so good. And then these guys, just scouts. But the thing with this is, it's the different types of armor that the Chaos factions give you, whereas Space Marines have become very boring, they're white bread, they're bland. I like the scaling of the Primaris, but they look so boring. Every unit looks the same apart from a different gun. I've lost interest and I've lost love for that, which is why I'm looking at making my armies with Heresy models, but for 40k. Just because I can do more with it, you can have more fun with it. And honestly, as much as I love the Dark Angels, and I do, I love my custom faction, my custom chapter, I don't like the models enough to want to just paint a whole army of Space Marines. Whereas these, you've got so many different colours you can do, so many different textures. It's a shame they're chaos, because I wanted to try and stay away from chaos. But, you know, for the channel, I'm probably going to have to get chaos armies and things as well. The World Eaters look amazing. Their range was incredible. And these are just fantastic. I cannot fault any one of these models. Yeah, Emperor's Children is the highlight for me. And you know how I feel about 40k at the minute. But just stunning. And the paint jobs on these, the paint is... they're so well done. There isn't one of these that I look at and think, oh, it just... even the old High Elf stuff looks incredible. But let me know what your favourites are in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. And I'll see you all in the next one.